Melon! Meloncollieflaur desu. Hello everyone, I am meloncollieflaur. And you know what today is? It's Watermelon Wednesday! SUIKA水曜日だよ. You've made it to the middle of the week once again. Just a few more days until the weekend. I hope you're ready for it. You need some well-deserved rest, after all. So keep at it, just a few more days. You got this. I believe in you. おはようございます。こんにちは。こんばんは。私はメロンコリーフラワーです。今日の配信はスイカゲームだよ。さあ、行きましょうメロン。Okay. So I've gotten into a habit now of checking to see if this game has updates every week. And it turns out that it does kind of. But I made sure to get that taken care of last night or this morning. Because usually what will happen is I'll get ready to stream and then I will see that it says that there's an update that needs to happen, and then as I try to update it, it goes from saying that it's going to be 2 minutes to 30 minutes to maybe 40 or 50 minutes. I think that's because my Switch is old though, which is upsetting to think about, but that's what happens. Also, give me 1 second. ちょっと待ってメロン. Moving some stuff around. Okay. I don't know what the update actually was though, but it just said that there was an update that was supposed to happen for it, so I did it. And we're good. So we are current on the update. Maybe it was like a multiplayer balancing thing or something, I'm not sure. Everything seems normal to me, as far as I can tell anyway. Alright, let's see. I'll try to make a smaller pile in the middle. That might work out just fine. Because we have to aim for the gravity. For the center of gravity. Put all the small ones over on the side. Okay. Guess I could put you here. The small ones on the left side then. The deck up on. Okay. Budo. And then match this one. Okay. So now I have 2 pairs. I have 3 pairs. But I can only make 1 pair of pairs at the moment. Ah! I guess I was mistaken. So we'll get the peach over to the right then. Hopefully. Little by little. The cherry will help. For sure. There we go. Might not put it. But I have a situation now due to the size. Okay. 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 So now we just match and see where this takes us. That's pretty good, actually. Huh. I think I'll start putting some of the small ones on the right side now. Nice. Melon. Okay. So this will keep feeding the right side. Gravity is important. Okay. Guess I'll put you here for now. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. It's okay. I'll see if I can make up for it. Maybe. Okay. Now I'll put the small ones on the left. Whoa. Okay. So that worked out just fine. Strawberries. Well, we have a lot of space now, so I guess I'll put them on the bottom. Nice. Very clean, actually. Put the cherries on the left. One grape. Okay. So this will turn into a decapone. Okay, and then now we just have to shrink the size. But how? We'll show Melon. Oh no! Well, we almost had a SUIKA there. Almost. 2067. 2607. What is it? 1600? It's 60. 67. 2067. I'm so silly sometimes. Gotta get better at reading numbers. Reading numbers is difficult. 難しいもの。めちゃくちゃ難しいもの。Okay. Flat floor. Okay, and then now we have to get the matches. Okay, so that's now stuck. Okay, there we go. I'll put the cherry on the left. Strawberry as well. Decopon. Okay. Strawberry and grape. Pineapple it. Persimmon on the right. And cherry on the left. Persimmon on the right. Cherry on the left. Nice. Got our first pair. Well, I guess not. Really. Since we have a pineapple, right? So I guess our second pair. Milo! On Melon! Hope you're doing well today. How are you? Decopon on the right. I'm pretty good, and I'm glad you're doing good as well. I feel great today. I know that implies that I don't feel great all the time, but I actually do feel great today. I don't know. I feel like I have a decent amount of energy. I think that's what it is. We do our best. That's all anyone could ever ask for, right? Okay. Decopon. Okay. Put you here. Put the small ones on the left. Keep making the big ones on the right. Decopon is tricky. And awkward. Okay. Nice. Cherry. Okay. Oh. I wonder. Okay, good. So that was enough to move it to the right. Nice. Excellent. Melon. Okay, so now... small on the right, I guess. Okay. Nice. Oh, also, did you check out Melanie and Melon? I actually didn't do it. I knew I forgot to do something. I knew there was something I forgot to do. But now I have those names, so I will definitely take a look. I knew I was going to forget something. And I'm not too happy about that. No, it's not alright. That's bad. I had one job. Oh, okay. I need a cherry, I think. Wait. There's something to weigh it down. Huh. We don't forget stuff, especially when a lot piles on. Yeah, but still. something has to be important enough to where we remember things, right? Huh. We can't always dismiss everything to not remembering. We have to remember something. I know attention span has gotten shorter over the years as a whole, but we can definitely rebuild it, and here's how I know why. Brain rot, which definitely is a term that was coined, I think, last year, definitely helps people remember things, even though a lot of times brain rot isn't really useful information. However, it can be used as a mechanism to remember things, since it is interesting and funny. So it can also be used as a way to remember other things, especially important things. Because we remember interesting things or meme-like things because of how interesting they are. And how catchy they are. So we associate things with stuff like that. So if we can do that with important things, it's not too difficult. This is also why you don't stream on YouTube Shorts. It's not that really. It's just that usually for YouTube Shorts, oh, well, I've never streamed on YouTube Shorts. I've never done that before. I probably could. I think this is a game that would actually be perfect for that. I didn't even think about that. But at the same time, I'm not entirely sure how that works, because I don't think just setting up a stream in vertical will have it still format the same way. I think there's still some other thing you have to do, and I'm not entirely sure how that works, even though I have seen people stream this way on YouTube, but I'm not entirely sure how it works. YouTube Shorts lives are weird. I don't mind learning. What's going on? Why are they weird? But this is definitely a game that would be perfect for that, and I didn't think about that until you mentioned that. That's actually pretty interesting. What? Okay. So I can do this. Well, that wasn't too helpful. Some were just brain rot stuff. One guy was just sleeping live. Well, that's not even brain rot. That's just someone sleeping while live. I guess that was just... I guess in a way... people were watching their stream to, I guess, keep them safe. Sleeping soundly. Sure how that format works in terms of setting that up. I know it's basically like TikTok though, and that's basically how that goes. But I will say this, at the same time, there are a lot of streamers who are trying their best not to attract too many like kids or children. And yes, I know that I am adorable and short and small, but sometimes kids can be a bit rambunctious, especially online, because they usually do not have adult supervision, and that causes a lot of problems for a lot of streamers as well. Oh, also, the 80th anniversary of Thomas was back on Monday. Oh, that's really cool. Some Minecraft YouTubers are like, I've heard about this actually, and I'm not too fond of it. It's actually rather upsetting. However, it is a shame that that is a thing. But see, that's the thing too. When you mostly have kids watching you, and you're streaming, the only thing you can do is put up something saying 18 plus streamer or something like that. But even then, that's not going to stop kids from watching you or responding in chat. Pretty sure people have done many different things to go, hey, if you are under the age of 18, enter this chance to win a PlayStation 5. And then they do so, and then they get banned because they told on themselves. Plus, a lot of times when people are younger, they do tend to lie about their age to get the access. Everyone's done it, I'm pretty sure. But people don't realize that it's for both parties' safety. is to keep both out of trouble. Which is 13 plus with the whole combo system YouTube did back in late 2019. I was wondering what that was about, and I didn't really understand it completely. Wasn't there also a time where YouTube was doing this thing where if videos are too bright, people would get hit with something or something like that? Which I thought was kind of interesting. There were a lot of weird things that were happening, a lot of different rules that were trying to be rolled out, and I didn't understand any of it at all. But I don't think anyone ever expects anyone to actually understand most of the rules and terms that are written down, because they don't actually expect anyone to read it. They just want you to sign it, right? To say, well, you've signed it, which means you've read it. So if anything goes down and you question it, we can say, it was in the contract or it was in the terms and you didn't read it, did you? Because if you did, you wouldn't be surprised at what's going on or something like that. YouTube used to have a DMS system, but it was shut down. What's DMS? What's that? Not entirely sure what that one is. Come on. Come on. Strawberry. Oh, that was a thing. That's weird. To be honest though, to be fair, seems like everything had some sort of direct messaging type service. I'm sure people remember like WeSpeak or WeUSpeak or whatever the heck it was called. Pardon my French. But I've never used it or anything like that. I just know that it existed. And of course, the Switch also has like a cell phone voice system thing as well. Or whatever it's called, I don't remember. And of course the Switch 2 is going to make it even more accessible for people to do rambunctious things, because we can't have nice things and you can't expect anyone to actually be mindful of themselves or have any type of manners in that regard. The Wii U also used to have it. Oh, the Wii U used to have Skype as well? I didn't know the Wii U had Skype. That's interesting. I had no idea about that one. I definitely remember Skype. Skype was interesting. But then again, I also remember like older instant messenger stuff like MSN and stuff as well. Or Yahoo. There was a lot of that stuff. And then I think Discord became the main thing for a bit. I think TeamSpeak was a thing as well, but I've never used that before. Did you see the updated user agreement Nintendo put out? I think I did. However, I'd be lying to you if I said I read it. What can you tell me? Things are getting really weird. Actually, interestingly enough, I think I've heard about some things, but humor me, I suppose. Oh shit, they could have signed on. Ah. Oh. Okay. So we'll put that there. This here and that there. Okay. Oh, that runs that. Shogunai Melon. Come on. And then what? Budo Jigo. It's basically saying if you do anything with mods or hacking, they give full permission to shut down the whole console and break it entirely. Okay. So I'll talk from both standpoints. On one hand, I understand, because hacking is considered wrong. That's why it's called hacking. And mods and stuff. Especially if they are unofficial mods. So I understand why Nintendo would crack down on something like that. Other standpoint, I know a lot of people like to modify games and play them non-vanilla, if that's what it's called. And and apparently it adds more life to games and stuff like that. But the thing about it is usually the mods are unofficial, and if the thing about that too is that if it's unofficial, that means it can't be monitored properly, and it means that anything can happen. Kind of like how Peggy and ESRB were a thing, or how it would say that these things were not rated by ESRB or Peggy, with the way that people would do naming schemes and stuff like that in certain video games. So if people know that you can't hack the system or do any mods and stuff, and they are well aware of it, then I feel like that people shouldn't be surprised about it or get angry about it either. In that regard. Mostly because we know about it. Like, it's been put out there. We know about it. So no one can get angry about it if it does occur. Now, if Nintendo ends up breaking their own systems due to apparently something that had happened a week or so ago, where they rolled out an update, but then they rolled out another one immediately because something ended up breaking or messing up when they rolled out a new update. If they do something like that, then they would be at fault. Previously it would only remove access from the eShop and other online stuff, right? But see, now I guess they're trying to crack down and actually monitor their stuff properly in a way where this is one of those things where it's like there's a term that is used by older people, or at least from where I am grown from, where they say they don't believe that sugar is sweet, or they don't believe that water is wet, in the sense that someone will say that they are going to do a thing, like someone is going to crack down on something if they do not change their ways, and then the person doesn't change their ways, and then they end up getting punished for it. But then the person who gets punished gets surprised by it, even though it has been said to them. So now I guess Nintendo is finally doing that, and people are going to get angry about it, even though it has been said. I mean, kind of hard to say monitor when Smash Ultimate custom stages are a thing. Now, I do remember that. I remember that being a thing as early as, I guess it was Brawl, yeah? And then of course they did the, was it called Swap Note? Or Street Pass? Well, it was called, or the stage that was used in Smash 4. I forgot what it was called. Pyro did not deserve to be the face of the whole thing. Yeah, I don't understand. That's something I don't understand. But then again, if it's based on popularity or like anything like that, then that's probably one of the reasons why. I don't know why certain things like that happen. It's very interesting. But yeah, it's just like the whole interactions not rated by ESRB or Peggy situation when it comes to that. But that's the thing though, if it's a stage builder within the game, then it's not a mod or a hack. It's not directly a hack or a mod, it's literally creation. So I'm not sure how that's going to go. You can still create what you want in that regard, I think. Very interesting though to think about. But here's the thing. I guess the real question is, why can't people just be mature about things? I know that a lot of times we'll say, well, children aren't mature, so they'll giggle at some of the smallest things. But usually it's the adults that end up doing the heinous things. It's almost like a pot calling kettle situation, in a way. Because those who are supposed to be mature based on age end up being anything but. And I know that sounds really weird, but this is like observation from what I've seen. The reasons why things like this happen isn't necessarily because kids do it, but because adults do it, and kids see adults do it. So it's most of the time not even the kid's fault. a kid isn't really going to do something like that unless they were introduced to it by some other kids who were introduced to it by adults from somewhere. So it's very interesting. The things people create are interesting. Yeah, no, I agree with that. And that's what I mean. And it's usually promoted. The easiest way to get a meme going is to get something viral is to do something that kids will see. And if kids will see it, they will share it. And if they share it, everyone's going to know about it. But it usually starts with an adult, more than likely, doing a thing from a stream or what have you. Drawing interesting pictures on like walls or stalls or graffiti and stuff like that. Then kids see it and then they do it too. And then it spreads, basically. Stuff like that. But then these are the same people who are supposed to be mature about things and just be able to have things. For example, if I have something like Swap Note or voice chat or what have you, I have enough manners to act accordingly. A lot of people go, well, this isn't being monitored properly, so I'm going to do whatever I want about it and no one's going to do anything about it. And it gets really bad if someone is streaming it, because anyone can and will say anything. It's probably one of the reasons why there's a really big thing that happened back in the days of Xbox 360 gaming. Everyone knows about it by now, and it was a long time ago, and obviously no one's going to want to admit that because, you know, the Xbox 360 was a golden year for many. But it is definitely vintage almost. So, if it's not already. So, actually not yet. I think it goes vintage maybe next year. I think. But at the same time, it's very weird. It's just really, really weird that, you know, all I'm going to say about that is that people should learn to act accordingly, and people shouldn't always act out just because they think that they won't get caught about something. I think that's the biggest thing. People don't really have any manners anymore, or it feels like people don't have manners on the internet. At least I know that different people come from different places and there are different cultures all over the world. But if there's one thing that I know people don't like, it's being either disrespected or feeling not great about something. Treating people in a nice way should usually come as a priority, as opposed to being a jokester somewhere online that could cause someone to not feel great. And I know a lot of people say that, well, it's because people are just very sensitive on the internet. In reality, though, it's more of a defense to say, I know I was doing wrong, however, no one's going to do anything about me doing wrong, so they need to grow up, basically. But in reality, what you should do is just not do that thing. It doesn't take much to do right. It's very odd. That's the third time the fruit has flown today. 2284. Literally type in Smash Ultimate Stage Builder and the first result is the infamous Pyro Stage. I hate that it's the infamous Pyro Stage. I don't know anything about it. I probably won't, and I probably will not look it up, because it's definitely not a cup of tea on my end that I am fond of in any regard. But yeah, that sort of thing becomes popular, and it's all you're going to see until something more popular happens that might be around the same thing. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've heard about this, Milo, or seen this at all, but it's kind of like, there's a particular song in the Rhythm Heaven series from Rhythm Heaven Fever And I'm a huge Rhythm Heaven fan, so I'm gonna know a lot about this. And the song is called Screwbot Factory 2. And that song has basically been turned into an Egyptian remix that has been put all over the internet now. And a lot of people don't even know where the song is from. In fact, the person who makes the remixes doesn't even put in the description of the song that is being remixed. But I remember hearing that song on one of those types of like videos or shorts, and I knew immediately what the song was and where it came from, despite it being remixed in an interesting way. It's very interesting. I don't think there's anything wrong with the remix or anything. However, it does feel like it has gained traction in a way where there isn't any real credit to it, because it is still the song. It's not like an homage to the song. It's literally the song that has been like either pitched down or up or sped up in some sort of way. Not like remade or anything like that. Which Egyptian song are we talking about? It's let me think. I think if you type in Egypt Remix 2025, maybe. I guess I could try to sing it. It's like da 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 da. But it's not Anka related, unless someone remixed it with Anka as well. So that's been a thing for a bit now. And it's just very interesting. Rhythm Heaven is already obscure, so it's just very interesting. Not the cat. Well, it's not that one, but yeah, not the cat. It's not that one though. That one's like years ago. I'd say probably about 2 or 3 years ago. But this one in particular is a different song. But yeah, if you type in Egyptian remix, more than likely Anka will still show up, even though that's not the song that I'm thinking of in particular, unless they did remix it with just her dancing in the background. People usually put the song to someone doing a hip wiggle, and it's not necessarily not safe for work, but it's just like hip movement side to side, usually just with that song as a remix, or that song remixed in. Why not put it? But I guess in a way it's like, oh hey, Rhythm Heaven, but at the same time no one knows that it's Rhythm Heaven. It's just that it's an Egyptian sounding song that was turned into a remix. Yeah, honestly, it's honestly become an inside joke. Basically, yeah. That's basically what it is, yeah. It's become an inside joke. And I honestly don't know how Anka in particular became like the second most popular. And I say second because I would assume that Isabel is the most popular. But then Anka became popular somehow based on, I guess, I don't want to say an infamous animation. So yes, I do know about it. It's not that I am innocent or anything. I'm just wholesome. But I am aware of what is all over the internet. I just don't understand sometimes why things are what they are. And it's not something that I delve into. But I've definitely seen it. Anka and the business cat. Oh yeah, the one that people used to sell. I know how bad that sounds. I forget his name as well. The one that people used to sell for profits during the turnip stuff, when people were visiting each other's villages and stuff. The amiibo card. I think so. It's like a cat with glasses, yeah? Like a white cat with glasses? Like a calico, maybe? I think. I could be wrong. I don't really delve much into Animal Crossing. But I know some things just based on remembering how big Animal Crossing was in 2020. More of a gray cat? Okay. Yeah, I think it's the same one though. I think it's the same one that we're talking about. Yeah. Very, very interesting. This is back in the days of stocks, like Animal Crossing stocks and stuff like that. How yeah, obviously different villages had different villagers and whatnot too, and having that cat was apparently really good. Still think the whale is so mysterious in the GC version. There's a whale? I didn't know there was a whale. Are they GameCube specific? And are they region specific? I wonder. I always like learning about region different stuff when it comes to video games. Or localizations and stuff like that. Very intriguing to me. とても面白いメロン。Summon. Okay. Not sure. It's just a rare event to say it pass in the water even if it's just a shadow. Oh! Interesting. Okay, okay. I'm not sure. Okay. Sorry about that. But yeah. It's very interesting what becomes popular. Or what... It makes you wonder. It actually does make you wonder how something first gets set off. How something first becomes viral. Because you can't just aim for it like right from the start. It's something that just happens. And then people see it, they think it's funny, they show it to their friends, and then it gets shown to everyone. A Penguin also did a similar thing with the giant squid in the Aqua Grabber minigame. Club Penguin is definitely something I've never delved into either. And I've heard some things about how people like that, because Club Penguin's like a game for kids, right? But then adults will also go into the game to troll kids. Now we go back to the whole maturity aspect thing again. It doesn't make any sense. Now kids can't even play games online without adults doing weird things. We don't talk about Club Penguin online. I thought, but you mentioned Club Penguin. I didn't know there was a non-online, actually. I had no idea. The new anime, Club Penguin Online. Or Club Penguin Offline, I guess. CPO. Oh. This one's not good. I'm in the corner. No. 1497. 497. But Penguin Online was a private server ran by, let's just say, a man who did care about age. Did not care about age. I see. Yeah. I noticed this. Oh, wow. Well then. Look at that. Perfectly triangular. Yeah, we can't have nice things. We honestly cannot have nice things. It's very weird. It's very weird. Science Club Penguin's been shut down since 2017. I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, like I said. Well, that's still not that long ago when you think about it, though. I know it's been, what, 8 years? That's not too long. Kind of. Then again, I guess 2017 is a golden year. That's when the Switch came out, right? I think. Something like that. It does kind of feel weird. I guess 8 years is kind of a long time. It's almost a decade. So yeah, I guess so. But still, people do that though. A lot of change happened in 2017. It seems so. It definitely seems so. And it's very interesting to look back on. Because a lot of times we'll look back on, I guess depending on age, we look back on 1990s or the early 2000s or 2010 and stuff. But 2017 felt so long ago, but wasn't so long ago. So it's very weird. It's definitely an odd time. I don't even know of the major things that occurred in 2017. That's the thing about it. I don't know what the huge events were. Everyone knows about 2020 though, obviously. Other than the big pandemic, but the boom of virtual livers as well. Just the Switch. A lot of change happened. It was just the Switch. That was the lot of change. I guess so. Wait, there weren't any PlayStation or Xbox or Microsoft things that came out in 2017 that were of note? Or any like really big computer games, PC games? Rather interesting. I'm really bad with dates though. The way I remember certain years is based on when consoles come out, if I've gotten those consoles before. I think GameCube was around 2001. The Wii was around 2006 or so. The Switch was 2017. The Wii U I actually don't remember. I don't remember what year the Wii U came out. The 3DS I think came out around 2011? 2002 in Europe. Ah. I see. That's true. That's right, dates do get kind of interesting. North American versus PAL. 2012 for Wii U. 2012. Ah yes, the controversial year of which apparently the world was supposed to end due to the Mayan calendar and stuff. Very, very interesting time. I guess people kind of looked at it as like Y2K2, in which that Y2K to me was very interesting because I don't remember much about it. And I know that I'm, obviously stepping away from, Melon, obviously. But in terms of like, person behind the model, I don't remember much about Y2K, despite being around for it. And I knew what it was about, but I didn't know that something was happening, if that makes any sense. Makes it kind of hard to decide on a game anniversary. Like, do you take its first release or the release in the region you're in? That's a good point too. Yeah, because if you're not from Japan and you go, Mario is 35 or so years old or 40 years old, I guess it does get very iffy, especially for Europe. Because there were a lot of games that Europe didn't really get from the Nintendo side. Or like it took a while for things to actually release in Europe. For a bit. Up until, what, 3DS maybe? Or maybe beforehand? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe the Wii U, I guess? Or the Wii and the Wii U? I'm not sure. It was very odd. I'm not sure why that was a thing. Maybe multiple languages or something? I have no idea. I actually have no idea. Honestly, if the world was going to end in 2012, I would have absolutely went out with Pokemon Black and White 2. Yeah, of course. Is that when Black and White 2 came out? I don't remember. Wait, no. Did it? No, it came out. Did it come out earlier? It had to have come out earlier. Because I think the 3DS came out in 2011 or so. The original DS, even a year after the... Oh, so it did come out after the 3DS came out. Oh, that's very interesting. I don't remember that at all. I remember getting it. I just don't remember it being around that time. That's very interesting. I would have never thought that. That's interesting. Because I'm pretty sure I remember playing Black and White 2 on a DS original and not... You know what? I just thought about it. I remember now. Memory unlocked. I do remember playing on the original DS at some point. Or one of them. And then I put in the game on my 3DS. Melon. And I noticed that the game looked washed out and weird. Because it wasn't in its native state unless you held like the select and start button or something like that. But then it made the aspect ratio smaller. Which is why it would be a good idea to have an XL at all times. If you're really into like, if you really like the aspect ratio stuff, like perfect pixel and all that, because I'm a huge fan of perfect pixel aspect ratio, then that can kind of aggravate you a bit. Because it's like, you want the size, but if it's that size of the screen, it'll stretch out. But if you want perfect pixel, then it'll be a smaller size that's harder to see. They said it was because more people would have had a DS, and even for 3DS owners, they could just play with backwards compatibility, which is true. I think that was something that I was excited for, but I was definitely confused about why everything looked washed out and weird until I learned about holding select and start, or select, or I think, do you hold both or just one? I don't remember. It might be the same button anyway, so I don't remember. But you hold the button and it goes into native mode. And that happens for both DS games and Game Boy Advance games. DS XL the GOAT. I agree. I think the DSi XL is probably the best DS large to come out. The pixels were perfect. Like, it didn't really stretch. It didn't stretch the aspect at all, actually. It fit it, and it was as if nothing was different. It just looked bigger. It looked better. That's why it was very interesting to see that the 3DS design made it where the top screen was a little bit wider, or a bit wider. Why the screens weren't the same size is very interesting, because the DS screens were the same size, but then the 3DS made the top screen wider, probably taller as well, but it was definitely wider. And that's why if you ever see 3DS captures of people playing the games online, you'll notice that the screens are different sizes. Or if you do the native mode thing, playing DS games on your 3DS, you'll see that the black bars are bigger up top than bottom, since it lets you know that the screen is bigger up top. Probably for the 3D gimmick, I guess. I guess you can only do 3D gimmick with a wider screen. I guess that makes sense, because it is, the cameras are sliding, right? So I guess that makes sense. Not entirely sure why. It's very interesting though. It's also why the 2DS system screens are the same. Oh, are the 2DS systems the same size? Or something like that? Like the DS? I never owned a 2DS. I must admit though, the new 2DS, I like the way that it looks. I like how clean that it looks. But I've never had one. The way that the original 2DS looked kind of awkward to me though. Have the black and blue new 2DS XL. It looks really good. They did really great with like the different colors for that system. I'm almost jealous. Would I buy one now? No, not really. Only because there's so many around the house. There are like a bunch of them. A bunch of 3DSs. And maybe like one DSi XL. But yeah, the DSi XLs are really good. I'd recommend that to anyone. In fact, two systems that I would recommend from the DS era, it would be the DSi XL and the new 3DS XL. Mostly because, you know what, the original 3DS as well. Because of the plastic, or the hinges didn't break. There were hinge issues with a lot of DSs. The DS original, the DS Lite, the old 3DS XL. All of these systems had like hinge issues. Like whenever you open them, it makes that loud crack noise, and it will sometimes crack the plastic around the sides where the hinges would be. I know it broke on the DS Lites very easily. The original 2DS got so much hate back then, but now people praise it because of the bigger grip for people with big hands. That's interesting. I can understand that then. I didn't think about that. Like I said, I've never owned one. I knew of one person that had one, and I've held it in my hands maybe once or twice. But I never actually had one myself. So that's very interesting. I mean, at least the original DS didn't have the GBA card sticking out while playing. That's true too. That's true too. The original had it where it was like snug in there, kind of like the way of the GameCube Game Boy player. That's true. That is weird. I wonder why they did that. It also makes me wonder why the original DS wasn't so successful. I do feel like the screens were smaller, but I don't think the screens were smaller than the DSi. I'm sorry, the DS Lite. I'm not entirely sure. Each system had its issues. I'll be honest with you on that one. But it's definitely interesting. Interesting to think about now. It's funny because people nowadays are actually going for like for lack of a better term, people are going for like tricked out Game Boy Advances now. Like, and I mean Game Boy Advance and not like Game Boy Advance SP. Like a tricked out Game Boy Advance with an LED backlight. And like some different things added as well. So that's become a craze as well. There was actually a bundle at launch for the original DS that came with Mario 64 DS, WarioWare, and the Metroid Hunters game. I didn't know about that. There was a time where I was first introduced to the DS cart before actually having a DS or even knowing what a DS looked like. So like someone found a game somewhere and they were like, here, you can have this. Melon. But they were like, here, you can have this. I was like, okay. But then I couldn't play it because I didn't have a DS. And funnily enough, interestingly enough, it was Mario 64 DS. I didn't know there was a bundle like that though. I wonder if that was Europe specific or if it was worldwide. Sounds very interesting too. These are nice collectibles to have. I wonder if anyone's reverse engineered the original DS or made it decent at all, because people love to make modifications of older things, so I'm curious. I also don't hear much about the the Game Boy Micro either. Because that was another handheld that I didn't have or own. I think I kind of wanted it at one point, but then just didn't care enough to get it. I remember getting like a DS IXL much later down the line in years, but I never got the older stuff. I had an SP and DS Lite, but ended up getting the DSi XL later. Probably worldwide, since Nintendo was absolutely trying to sell the DS, since they weren't absolutely sure about it because of the third pillar thing. Third pillar. Third pillar. Third pillar. What is that? I know that people were, when they were trying to develop for the DS, they didn't really know what they were getting themselves into, so they just took, I guess they took 2 Game Boy Advances, maybe, and just experimented with that. It came out in 2004 while the GameCube and Game Boy Advance were still being made. Oh, that's what you mean by third pillar. Yeah, because the GameCube and Game Boy Advance were around the same time. I guess that was them trying to phase out the Game Boy Advance, even though they did make the SP a little bit later and the Micro as well. It makes you wonder. It makes you wonder about that. Because if you come out with a Game Boy Advance model, and then you make the Game Boy Advance SP, but then you make a Micro later, I don't know how many years apart these are. Right? So if we assume that these are a year or 2 apart, then the DS comes out around, I think you said 2004. It kind of makes you think, or makes you wonder if it's a waste of money to even develop those in the first place. The devs for partners in time didn't even know what the DS looked besides from having 4 face buttons and 2 screens. I think that's what it was that someone had said before. They didn't know what the DS looked like, or the layout, or anything like that. So they had to, they basically, I guess they did the 2 Game Boy Advances thing. I wonder though, can you tell if that's the case based on gameplay or not? I wonder how people found out. I wonder if it was said in like a press conference or something like that, in that regard. I also think that Partners in Time is probably the more tedious one too, in terms of, that might explain it actually, because it's really awkward dealing with all 4 characters, especially if one of the characters does like lose a life, because the way you have to maneuver, because it was already difficult trying to carry Luigi or Mario in Superstar Saga when one of them died. So imagine like when one of the characters dies in Partners in Time, and it's 4 characters you have to worry about. It's very interesting. So they came up with their own version by putting together GBA SP and a Super Nintendo controller together. Melon! Tissio Spook on Melon. What can I see? I hope you're doing well today. Also, I just joined right at the end. Yeah! Honestly, Tissio Spook, I wonder if it's intentional at this point. It almost seems that way. You tend to actually do that. I'm not faulting you or anything. I just find it very interesting that you do that very often. Though, at the same time, I must say that I don't think notifications work very well, which is sad. Because what's the point in having notifications if they don't work, right? But I digress. It's still nice to see you regardless. It's one of the reasons why I say there's nothing wrong with the VOD. After all, it's just me playing a SUIKA game after all. Actually, if the bro dies, the baby pulls them off screen and can jump and hammer at normal speed. Oh, so it was the opposite then. Okay, I guess it was the opposite of Superstar Saga. Very interesting. And if the baby dies, you can't revive the bro the baby belongs to. Huh. I haven't played that game in a very long time. Very interesting. What should I admit on? It's a nice game regardless. It's definitely a game that people don't play often. Whenever people play Mario and Luigi games, it's almost every game except that one and Dream Team. But I've heard good things about Dream Team, so I don't know. Very, very interesting. It's still a cute detail. They'll carry each other. Yeah, they still carry each other, that's true. Just like in, yeah, like with Mario and Luigi and Superstar Saga. But yeah, the ones that, the divide in the Mario Luigi series is, in terms of favorites or nostalgia or anything like that, is Superstar Saga and Bowser's Inside Story. Then again, I guess Partners in Time didn't get a remake, did it? Interestingly enough. Also, do you remember Toadwood Forest and Partners in Time? I don't recall what happened. I feel like I should remember because I did get all the way to the end of that game once and I couldn't beat the final boss. I wasn't very good at it. Well. But no, I don't remember entirely. Oh. Oh. Okay. Cherry. Grape. Strawberry. Okay. So 90. I'll do one more. So beta pictures of some areas in the game came out a while ago, and Toadwood Forest looks much more unsettling than the final game. I don't doubt that at all. Usually, developers end up making things look a bit better and less scary, in final releases. Sometimes. But sometimes it does make you wonder why certain things are cut. I definitely remember seeing some of the leaks, or seeing the leaks for, or seeing demonstrations of the leak of Superstar Saga beta, which is very interesting to look at. Since, if you remember, it was the area where the toads were stuck to trees, right, while having their energy sucked out of them. Right. So it makes you wonder how they made it even more unsettling then. Man, RPGs are dark, huh? No matter who's in them, it seems. Always dark. I don't think there's a single RPG that isn't dark, now that I think about it. Because, I guess it's because it's a lot of, like, since it's very story driven and very, like, roleplay and whatnot, there always has to be some sort of dark element somewhere. So I don't think there's a single RPG that doesn't have dark elements at all whatsoever. Man, the beta makes it look like their souls are being sucked out and look like dead shrooms. Oh, it is understandable, but it's definitely creepy, for sure. If you think about the target demographic, I can definitely understand why that would be most unsettling. Forgive the expression. Interesting indeed. Huh. But it's definitely always interesting to see rough draft versus final in any case. Especially since it's a Mario game. Alpha Dream was on something else. Yeah, that's the thing. But it seems like I always feel like since Mario wasn't originally an RPG anyway, you can basically take any RPG element and stick characters in them from a popular franchise. And Mario was that type of... Super Mario was that type of face that they basically put in everything. Even Mahjong, if you can believe that. So they literally went, how can we make money from this game? Let's put these characters in it. Mario, Kirby, even Diddy Kong with Diddy Kong Racing. Sure Mario had a tattoo. Mario had a tattoo and a GBA ad poster? I feel like I should remember that. I feel like I should remember that. For sure. But I don't remember that. Why? Cherry. Okay. Grape, strawberry. Also been playing Brothership again. Oh, you've beaten it already? I don't have that one. I thought about getting it at release, but I just never did. I'll assume it's good if you're playing through it again. The visuals look really nice. Really, really nice. It was very cool that they decided to delve into 3 of the most iconic types of Mario RPGs at the end of last year. Or kind of. Something like that, I think. Now you're still going through the game? Oh, I read that as you're going through it a second time, not you picked it back up. I apologize. Gomen Melon. Sumimasen Melon. なんでもないでしょ。Oh. But yeah, it looks really nice. Huh. Is this like the second or third game that Starlo is in though? Starlo has just become the reoccurring partner, I suppose. It's great. I'm glad to hear. I've seen people play it, but I haven't touched it, no. I don't have it or anything. Oh. Cool. But yeah, there have been many different occurrences where people were making a game and then there was going to be a main character that wasn't going to be well known, and then they took a well-known character and put it in. Kirby for... what's the game called? It's the one on the Wii. Before a Return. What is that game called? The one with the very nice comfy piano. Epic Yarn. And then Diddy Kong Racing. And a lot of Mario stuff as well. Starlo, including the remakes, has appeared in 6 Mario and Luigi games. Starlo was very popular for some reason. I always thought she looked like a Babam, to be honest with you. I don't know if that's what... No, she's like a spirit or something, right? Like a fairy. But she definitely looks like a golden Babam or something. With eyelashes. This might be an odd take, but I'm not a fan of Starlo. Because Starlo's a bully. Starlo mentioned. Hello, Axer. Call Melon. I hope you're doing well today. It's been a long time, Hisashi Burini. Starlo is... Dreambird. Who's Dreambird? Oh, yeah, so... I have not played much of Dream Team, despite owning it. My death was greatly exaggerated. Well, welcome back to us, Axera. It's nice to see you. Haven't seen you in forever. Feels like, anyway. Hisashiburi ni. But yeah, I haven't played Dream Team. But yeah, they used Starlo a lot. I guess she became the likable character. Meanwhile, in like Paper Mario games, there weren't any reoccurring partners. Even if we did see, I think, 2 partners twice, technically. Or maybe it was 1, I don't remember. It may have been 1. I don't remember. Unless you count references of the, like from the cards in, Super Paper Mario. Starlo actually appears in the remake of Superstar Saga in the Bowser's Minions side quest. I don't doubt that. I do like the Bowser's Minions game, interestingly enough. And it reminds me of Fire Emblem in a weird way. I don't know why though. Sounds about right. Yeah, they like Starlo. I don't know. Then again, you like Starlo as well, Axeria, so I don't know. People like Starlo. She's even a troop. She's even a troop you can use in battles after you beat the final boss. Huh. I guess I need to learn what makes her so likable then, because any character who is going to bully Luigi doesn't sound like a very likable character. As well as Prince Peasley reappeared too. Oh, Peasley is a troop you can get. That's interesting. I like that. I'll do one more. The topic is fun. Starlo is girl, therefore popular. No one talks about the double-faced coin guy with his dog. He's my favorite. My fave. Enya. Yeah. I guess that's true. Yeah, if girl exists, then popular. Yeah. Because, let's face it, no one liked, stuff. What's his name? The luggage. Yeah. Coin block guy. Brooke Monsieur and Brogy. Yeah. Yeah, he's French. Yeah. Yeah. I'd say he's an iconic character. Can't tell if he's sometimes evil or not just based on the head flipping thing, but very interesting character indeed. Supposedly. I mean, allegedly. Although his accent changes depending on what language. Yeah, that makes sense too. That's always interesting. It's like, yes, in English they have this accent. They use this language. So I wonder what they do if used in that target language. It's kind of like a Phoenix Wright situation. But in English you don't know? Have you tried playing in Spanish? I mean, the man ran the whole restoration of Pillow Island, so I think he's cool. That's fair. The dog is very cute though, for sure. The more we talk about these types of games, it really does make me reminisce about them, because I never beat these games. The only Mario Luigi game I ever beat was Superstar Saga. And even my first time playing it took me a while to beat the last boss. But in 2 other games I had gotten to the end and didn't beat the boss. Pretty sure I still own the carts and everything. And I'm stuck at that point. And I won't be able to beat them now, obviously. And then there's always the talk of whether or not, like, which one was better. In terms of re-release or / remake, I guess, or the OG. Even though a lot of times newer games tend to bring out quality of life changes. But then some people will say that the newer ones feel like plastic or something. It feels like the original feel isn't there and all that type of stuff. It's very interesting. I've been using the word interesting a lot today. But it's very interesting to see the different takes based on, like, you know, can you like both? Dislike both? Can you like them both for different reasons? And stuff like that. Or run slower like with the remake TTYD at 30 FPS. Yeah, it's very jarring to look at the new one and how pretty it looks, and it does play great. And then look at the old one and notice how much faster it runs too. It's almost like looking at, you're playing a bunch of Mario games and you go back to Mario 3 on the NES and you go, wow, this feels like 60 FPS. Why not put it? And it's very odd because it's like, did NES run 60 FPS ever? But yeah, it's very jarring. Now, don't get me wrong. I like both of the versions. I like the old and the new. I like the improvements that were made. I'm not sure why the frames went down, but it looks great and it still plays well. But that is probably the most notable difference for sure. I will say you will notice the load times in Brothership. Oh, are they like PlayStation 1 levels of load time or PlayStation 2 levels of load time? Because that's gonna take me out of it if that is the case. Probably not in Spanish. I don't know. I may take a look. I may look at the multi-5 and see if Spanish was one of them. I feel like it should have been. Spanish is usually like a secondary. It's usually English, Spanish, French, sometimes Italiano. But usually those are the three. Or German. German depends. Not that bad. There's like 10 to 15 seconds for loading areas. Ah. Why does it feel like with newer systems coming out, it feels like they're supposed to have better processing power, but in reality, even though it does, we also just pump more graphics out of the newer games, so it's as if it's not the case. We don't feel like there's a limitation anymore, so we just make games bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's gonna feel like 100 gigabytes is nothing, even though it's definitely a big deal. It's gonna be weird when a terabyte is nothing, when it's huge. Although with the Switch 2 coming out, people speculating on upgrade packs for a lot of different games. I feel really weird about that. Mostly because I don't know if any other systems have ever done this before. Melon. But I wonder about that, because it's like, well, since you're getting the new system, you can get this game again for a small fee for updated graphics or for updated load times and stuff like that. And that's interesting because in a way, I guess Switch 2 isn't backwards compatible. It's still technically running an emulator. Well, I guess running an emulator doesn't make it less of being backwards compatible, because I mean the Wii did it. The GameCube could play Game Boy Advance games. Sometimes. Which system started backwards compatibility? Was it the Wii? I think so. I mean, PlayStation 2 did it as well. I'll assume Xbox 360 did for Xbox Original. Just wish the extra content was on the cart and not a Game Pass key. Right! Like how Sword, Shield, Scarlet, and Violet had their DLC areas added on the cart release. Yeah, exactly. I think a big issue back in the day was people didn't like the fact that people wouldn't have to pay for DLC that was already locked onto the game itself. I think that was a big issue on a lot of Xbox 360 games back in the day as well. The games were on the CD, on the cart, but you had to pay for the DLC just to unlock that stuff on the CD. And it was very weird to think about. I guess this was also microtransaction era too, so it was very interesting and weird at the same time. Definitely a weird time. I mean, if you count the Super Game Boy player, yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Super Game Boy player on the Super Nintendo, I guess, was the start then. I'm surprised they didn't have anything for the Super Nintendo, making it where it was backwards compatible for NES games, or like Super Famicom to Famicom and stuff like that. So yeah, that is kind of interesting. Did Sega systems do that at all? I wonder. I never had a Sega system ever. But yeah, when it's like running, it's gonna get weird, because if the Switch 2 is going to try to run basically the Switch as an emulator, that means it's gonna run slower, much like any other thing that tries to run backwards compatibility. The way that the 3DS runs DS games or Game Boy Advance games, it loads in practically the DS or Twilight, I guess, or Game Boy Advance emulator to play the game in its native way. I don't notice any frame drops or anything, but that's the way that it does it. It loads up that system within the system. GameCube games on the Wii. GameCube games on the Wii as well. JP also got an exclusive Game Boy Color version. Game Boy Color version. Did they? Game Boy Color. Exclusive Game Boy Color version. What, Super Game Boy? I really don't understand why they didn't sell GameCube games on the Wii U eShop. I don't either. If the Wii is backwards compatible for GameCube games, and the Wii U was doing a Wii backwards compatible, you know what? That's why. I think that's why. Because technically, let me see if I can get this right. If you have a Wii, and you still have your old GameCube games where the Wii could play the GameCube games because you could use the CDs, then you look at the Wii U and go, oh, well, the Wii U has the virtual Wii, which means the virtual Wii functions the same way as a regular Wii, even though it doesn't. But it practically does, but I don't think you can run GameCube games on a Wii U. Kind of. So it was looked at as, how would they, well, you said the eShop though, the Wii U eShop, because they did release some Wii games on the Wii U eShop as well. You can't have people tried, so that is very interesting then. I wonder about that. It's very, very odd. Oh, that's true, because you can't even use, well, even if you couldn't load it, or even if you could load it, you couldn't use the, what is it called? The GameCube adapter for it. Which is also big sad. What else? Smash Bros. GameCube controller adapter. Yeah. That. Because it only worked with select things, right? You couldn't always use it for everything. And you couldn't use it on the, I don't think you could use it on the Wii side, the virtual Wii side. That I can remember, anyway. Very odd. Very interesting. Ah! So yeah. I don't know why they didn't do it, but they did definitely release some Wii games for the Wii U side. Rhythm Heaven Fever is one that I remember for certain. I'm sure there are many others, or maybe a small amount, but that's the one that I remember the most. The Melee NSO voice chat is gonna go, oh, wait. The Melee NSO voice chat is gonna go up. Now Milo, we don't even know if they're going to release Melee for NSO. I'm sure that it's highly anticipated, but do we know if that one's gonna come out? I actually didn't see that one. I did see the Pokemon games. I saw Coliseum and XD. Was it really in the trailer? I don't know how to feel about that. That's a scary thing. Alongside Luigi's Mansion, I understand Luigi's Mansion. It even got re-released, so I kind of understand that one. The reason why I'm iffy about that is because SUIKA daya. I'm iffy about that because they didn't even release Smash 64 on N64 NSO. And I know there was a huge thing about that. Everyone was always like, free Melee, free Melee, free Melee. Well, I guess now Melee is free. Well, it's not free, but you know what I mean. Watermelon, let's go. SUIKA daya. So yeah, that's very odd. It's a, I don't know. I guess the cool thing, I just wish they would finish releasing stuff like proper on the NSO. Like how some games would get released. I'm trying to think. On the NES, I think all the Mario games came out. I think you can play Mario 1, 2, and 3 and Lost Levels. I'm pretty sure All Stars is on the Super Nintendo NSO as well. This was something that didn't occur for a Virtual Console on the Wii, where we could get the NES games, but All Stars didn't exist for Virtual Console on the Wii. However, they did release like the anniversary, on the anniversary, I think it was 20th anniversary, they released the collection again, and it was just Super Mario All Stars. And the difference was you could play it with, I guess, the Wii remote, I guess. Like Metal Mario and Master Hand on 64 are banger themes. I agree. I do miss that actually. It was really fun. Then there's All Stars Mario World version. So, All Stars Mario World version, what can you tell me about that, Milo? Because for the longest time, I thought that was like a North American only release. But maybe it was only just a non-Japanese release. I didn't know there was a European one. Luigi has more unique sprites. Yeah, Luigi actually is Luigi in that one in particular, if I recall correctly. For some reason, he shoots fireballs out of his mouth. And he has interesting poses. I think it's really cool. Very unique. Very, you never see that one anymore. But I do wonder if that was just a non-JP release to sell All Stars. It was the one that had Mario 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's the best collection so far. Then again, maybe the Mega Man collection's great too. I'm not sure. Mega Man's a difficult series. For someone like me. But I'd say All Stars plus World is the definitive. Even if it's never been re-released. Surprised they didn't do like the special edition thing on NSO like they would do. Where it's like, oh hey, here's a special version where you get to see the end of Dr. Mario or something like that. So that version did also come out in Europe. Okay. Well, see, I would only assume so since you know about it, right? Because I would assume you wouldn't, because you probably would have said, and then there's that version which we didn't get in Europe or something like that. But I didn't know that it also came out in Europe. It might have come out much later though. I wonder how rare of a cart that is now compared to many other things. Like how Dr. Mario 64 didn't come out in Europe. That's interesting. Because Dr. Mario 64 didn't come out in Japan either. It only came out in North America. Very strange. And then Japan made the puzzle collection. It's in the puzzle collection, which has Dr. Mario 64, Yoshi's Cookie, and Panel de Pon, I believe. 2001, a few months before the GameCube. Oh, that's odd. Really? Wait. Here's a question. Did they put it on the Super Nintendo Classic? Cause that would have been interesting. Did they pull a an Earthbound Beginnings or a Star Fox 2? Oh, we're talking about Dr. Mario 64. Okay. I was still... Okay. Yeah. Wait, that's a thing? And 64 Classic is a thing? Eh? I didn't know that. I thought it was only the NES... I'm sorry. Yeah, the NES, Super Nintendo, and the PlayStation 1, maybe? I didn't know there was an N64 Classic. I'm learning a lot today. Huh. Okay. Oh. It's the era where they took cute anime characters and switched them to Nintendo characters or Eggmen for the puzzle games over here. Yeah! Panel de Pon was probably... Well, wait. Was it Panel de Pon? No, not Panel de Pon. Puyo Puyo. Puyo Puyo is probably the oddest one because you had the original with the anime characters with Arlie, and then you had Kirby's Avalanche, which was still Nintendo. Or which was Nintendo rather. Which was Puyo Puyo. And then there was Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine on Sega. Like that era still had that same game rehashed in three different ways. Or I guess 2 different ways. So yeah. I don't know. Okay, I'll do one more. I keep saying that. This isn't normal. This is not normal. This is like a special... This is a special... SUIKA game stream, I guess. Pokemon Puzzle League, Wario Woods Tetris Attack. Tetris Attack with Yoshi. Wait, Wario Woods also got a rehashing? I don't know much about that one. I know Tetris Attack and Puzzle League were Panel de Pon. Was Wario Woods a take on Puzzle League as well? If so, I did not know that. I didn't play Wario Woods. Gotta do another round. Yeah. Gotta do another round. The conversation's interesting. I like talking about... Like I said, I do like talking about regional differences and learning what did release in different places. Oh! I just thought about it. If they're releasing all of these GameCube games, this means there's a chance for them to release Nintendo Puzzle Collection as well on the NSO. This will be the one time where... This is the odd thing that I know, but this will be the one time where people could play... It could be a 4-player Panel de Pon. Because I think even... Because there was going to be that Panel de Pone release, all three of those games basically that are on there technically would be rehashings of an older one that was on the N64. So there was an N64 prototype for Panel de Pone, which is what they put on the GameCube. And then they, like I said, they added Dr. Mario from the N64. I'm not sure about Yoshi's Cookie. Maybe that was the only game that got a completely, like, redo. And it looks really great. The assets, the sprites look really, really nice, actually. But I'm not sure if they were gonna actually release a Yoshi's Cookie game on N64. How do you spell it? The GameCube game? Nintendo. It's called Nintendo Puzzle Collection. I think it came out in 2004? In Japan only? I could be wrong about the date. I'm not entirely sure. Or the year. I do not remember. But it has all three of those games. But yeah, technically those games didn't come out in Japan on N64, so. Okay, yeah, I remember Paddle. Oh, Panel. Yeah. It's a fun game. I don't remember if I played Tetris Attack growing up, that particular version. But when I learned later about like Puzzle League and the one on the Game Boy Color, I think, it definitely became an addiction. Sure, they released Wrecking Crew 98 untranslated. Oh, that's right, they did. You're right, they did. Yeah, that's a confusing game to me. I didn't understand it very well. So yeah, they could definitely release that. I hope the online would be better. I don't know if the netcode would get fixed or anything. But if that gets fixed, that's a potential. That would be a good reason to get the Switch too. Because people were having a lot of fun just playing Panel de Pone in general for NSO. And like, I guess Mario Kart 64 as well. So it would be another hidden gem, literally, because it would be an official way for people to play it now. I had no idea what was going on, so just looked up the cutscenes. Yeah, I also do not understand Wrecking Crew 98 at all. So hats off to anyone who understands that one. It's very confusing to me. Ah. But yeah, that potential is definitely there. I don't think there's anything like copyright wise or any like songs copyright wise, so it should be okay. It's not gonna be like a Mother 3 or Fire Emblem Binding Blade situation in terms of copyright and music and stuff. So it should be okay to release. Yeah, how to play, exactly, yeah. It's very confusing. I just realized something interesting. I'm surprised they didn't release SimCity for NSO. Maybe copyright or something? I know that I'm pretty sure they released Pilot Wings though, but I don't think they released SimCity. Maybe a problem with saving? Maybe. I didn't know that was oh, I didn't think about that. That's true. Did not think about that at all. Learning a lot today. I know there's one game that they would never put on N64, NSO, and that could be copyright related as well. I don't think anyone's gonna know what this is, but I'll say it anyway. Xena Warrior Princess. That game in itself was a mess. No, not Conquer. I'm pretty sure they would release Conquer under the mature. They've already released, what, 2 other games under mature, so I wouldn't doubt Conquer. Or I wouldn't dismiss Conquer. But Xeno Warrior Princess was a fighting game. I guess that's all I can really say about it. It was a fighting game. It was definitely a game. That is a game that I don't think can run on emulators. So I should say something about that as well. But then again, there were a lot of N64 games that didn't run on emulators very well. Never came to Europe. Yeah, not surprising. Not surprising at all. But like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of copyright stuff too. I'm pretty sure there was like a TV show, at least in like North America, that had happened at some point in time, some odd years ago. So I don't know. I think it was made by Atlus though. ATLUS. So that's probably another reason as well. And of course, we all know Superman 64 isn't going to go to NSO. Even though I think they should add it anyway, just for the heck of it. Even though that game is absolutely atrocious. But it would still be funny, right? There's also going to be a Thomas Railway Builder for PS1, but it was cut. Why was it cut? They put RPG Maker on PlayStation 1, I think. Or maybe it was PlayStation 2. No, I think it was PlayStation 1. In Japanese, maybe? But I think they did put one for PlayStation 2 in English, I think. Pretty sure. So why not Thomas? That's interesting. And Japan loves trains. Japan actually loves trains. They love builders. They love railway. They love, like, a lot of that stuff. Unless you mean the builder wasn't released outside of Japan. Who knows? All we have are images of the modes and Thomas and Toby on it. Maybe it was a licensing thing then. It's funny, as adults, we think more about, well, it's probably because of licensing as opposed to why didn't we just get it? Did they think people wouldn't like it? Did they think it wouldn't sell? But it could also just be licensing stuff too. You never really know, I guess, unless they release that sort of thing. Press conference and all that. Oh. This was back in the 90s when Thomas was still owned by the Brett Alcroft Company. Oh, I see. Okay, okay. And really and truly, who knows then? What? Ah. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Ah. Nice. I'm so glad I had a lot of energy today. Today was a really nice day. Ah. Well. There was a JP Thomas game made, but it's more of a kid's game and all in Japanese. I may look into it just because it's a kid's game and it's Japanese. Because as someone who's struggling to learn Japanese, kids games are probably the best way to do it. I may just look into it just to see what it looks like. You never really know. But hey, this was almost a 2-hour stream, and this was very fun. The topics were really nice. I really enjoyed today. This was really cool. Thank you, Milo. Thank you, Milo. Thank you, Axru. Thank you, Tissio Spook, for dropping by today. You guys are amazing. Really appreciate it. Absolutely, I enjoyed it too. I'm glad. I'm glad you enjoyed. It means I'm doing something right. And you guys are definitely helping. For sure. We have to talk about more stuff like this, because this is stuff I could actually yap about all the time. Not even a joke. I apologize for not playing Super Paper Mario yesterday, but I still might do so this week. I'm not entirely sure. Stay tuned on that. Always stay tuned for Watermelon Wednesday, even though the times tend to change. Thank you for reminding me again. Melanie and Vanna, thank you, thank you. I will check that out as soon as I end stream. I will make sure of that, and I will report on that next time I stream as well. So, mite kurete arigato. Kite kurete arigato. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy. This one was a good one. So, even though there are a lot of Suika game streams in the playlist, this one is definitely a great one to revert back to. So, I may even put it on front page or something, just for the heck of it. But yeah, stay tuned for those. Like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy. Hit the bell, hit the notification bell for whenever I go live, because that's the best way at this point in time, because I'm really bad with social media and I don't actually do anything on my Instagram, even though I really should. So I apologize for that. I don't. The seal emote's really cute. I like that. But yeah, this was really fun. I'm meloncollieflaur, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye. It's Melon.